this skill has also helped me gain the most amazing gift that I've always wanted to achieve, and that was being able to speak on TEDx, which is happening in November. Speaking has been a part of my life since I was 3 years old. Speaking was a part of my life because it saved my life. It saved my life because of all the things that were happening behind the scenes. From changing 6 different schools, being bullied, having to move around houses all the time, being homeless at 12, being bullied for being poor, all of the things, I realized that changing industries, changing direction in life, being rejected in certain industries, like my dance industries, then growing in my dance industries, all the things has brought back to this gift I've always had, and that was the gift of speaking. Hello and welcome. It has been a hot minute. It's been a couple of weeks. Your girl has taken a well-needed time off with Keys to the Queendom. Your girl is back though. And I wanted to give you guys a quick update on what's been happening behind the scenes, why we took a little break, and honestly the next big things that are coming up in my life. So before I get into that, I really want to ask a massive favor for those of you who are new to being in my world or subscribing to my YouTube or haven't yet quite subscribed. This is your opportunity to really allow you to, come into our world, subscribe for this YouTube channel most importantly. But also if this is an episode you've really loved, please share it and leave a review, because we really love growing and we love the feedback we get from our audiences. And we've also looked at the stats that we have, and there's still quite a few people that haven't quite subscribed yet. So if that's you, stop right now, whatever you're doing. If you're driving or if you're walking, it will take you a second to subscribe. And please reach out on my Instagram. I'm really big on connecting with anyone that loves my podcast and takes a lot of growth from it. And if you are enjoying it, then reach out. Let me know what episode you loved and why. We love hearing what you're really, marinating in, but also what you want to be seeing, hearing more of as well. So that's my last little bit. Over the last 8 weeks, we made a huge shift in the business, and that was really honing in on my speaking identity. And when this episode comes out, my event would have obviously been done. And over the last 8 weeks, we worked really closely with one of my best friends, Jenna. And last year, our business started to decline, and we realized something in the market was shifting, and that was our messaging, but also the market was shifting as well. So we realized that everything that I was doing and saying and building, nothing needed to change. It was just more around one, what I was saying and not owning, and that was the speaker identity. And I realized now that I've stepped into it, we've had an amazing event and we've owned this identity. It's been the biggest catalyst to the growth of our business. And it was just changing the one thing that I teach, and that's speaking. And that's what I'm here to kind of begin with this incredible, beautiful episode. Speaking has been a part of my life since I was 3 years old. Speaking was a part of my life because it saved my life, and it's a lot of the stuff I share on stage. And the reason why it changed my life was because our dysfunctional family, our upbringing was quite traumatic. A lot of people know a lot of my story. A lot of people don't know the severity of it. And it wasn't only until I openly owned this identity as a speaker, I look back at the stories and connecting the dots. It saved my life because of all the things that were happening behind the scenes. From changing 6 different schools, being bullied, having to move around houses all the time, being homeless at 12, being bullied for being poor, all of the things, I realized that changing industries, changing direction in life, being rejected in certain industries, like my dance industries, then growing in my dance industries, all the things has brought back to this gift I've always had, and that was the gift of speaking. My mum put me into speech and drama school at the age of 8, and if it wasn't for her and her beautiful Brazilian soul that walked across the road to our neighbour's house who owned a speech and drama school, I wouldn't be here today. the severity of our trauma that I went through growing up, the up and down of my life, I think the voice that I learnt to amplify as a little girl was what got me to be able to have the connection, the networks, the ability to speak on any stage, the ability to speak on my podcast, the ability to be able to move and transition. I reflect on the things like changing schools all the time, being able to pivot and adapt to new environments, was all because of that voice, the ability to speak. And I had limiting beliefs, my mum spoke to me in German. My mum spoke to me in Portuguese. So when we moved so many times, you can imagine adapting to the language of English, which, a lot of people say, well, you've been in Australia since you were 4. But, my dad wasn't in the picture all the time. And my mum was the one teaching us at homeschool how to read and write. And she was also foreign, English was also her third language. So she learned at a very older age. And I, at school was struggling. Until my teacher at the time said to my mum, she needs to learn how to read and write. And that's when my mum put me into speech and drama school. And here I am today sharing how this skill has not only saved my life, it's allowed me to teach. It's allowed me to use this skill to influence, to connect with people, to network. I've never had the fear of going into an event by myself and meeting people and communicating with people. And that's what speaking has been able to do for me, And I think a lot of people take for granted this voice box that we have that can not only amplify your story and make moves and impact people, but speaking has allowed me to sell from stage, make the money that I've made. It's allowed me to help the people that I have in my life. I'll repeat that again. It's allowed me to help the people I have in my life now, the people I get to coach and mentor. It's allowed me to have Dr. John DeMartini as a close friend. It's allowed me to have a podcast that's been global. All of this because I've been able to harness this skill because I walked into a speech and drama school, this little girl who had all of the stuff that was happening behind the scenes. And yet still, this skill has also helped me gain the most amazing gift that I've always wanted to achieve, and that was being able to speak on TEDx, which is happening in November. I can't believe I'm saying it. I'm actually going ahead with it. But what held me back was the fear I had. And it makes me so emotional from a place of gratitude and love that for this whole time I've been on this planet, I've been on multiple stages, and I think that's a metaphor in itself as a dancer, as an actor, as a fitness coach, as a business coach, and it's always been in me. I just never owned that identity as a speaker. So your girl's about to get on the TEDx stage in November, and what I'm going to be talking about is how speaking saved my life, but how speaking can be a great asset, a great skill for kids, because it did so much for me. Think about it. A little girl going to 6 different schools, having to adapt in different environments, her own environment not being safe. I had to create safety in my voice and safety that I can be confident in any room I walked into because I had to. I didn't have a choice. So this skill that I've learned, this skill that I'm now teaching people to be able to use their voice by commanding the room, having clarity in their message and being able to have the courage to sell from stage came from owning that identity. And of course, this podcast will go out when the event's done, but we have had now this event go out to the public 8 weeks ago and we've got 50 people coming, which is incredible because I knew that the message I've always had within me, I was just shitting myself for owning it. Am I good enough? Am I smart enough? Will I ever be ready? But when I owned that, things started to come my way. The opportunities started to come because I owned that voice, that identity. So for you listeners right now, I feel like I just wanted to give you guys this update because behind the scenes, I've been navigating as well, personal things with my family. Luna, my cat, got really sick, but also the weeks of prepping for this event, I also looked at some of the things that were no longer serving me, and that was habits and patterns and behaviors that I used to mask and to make myself feel safe. I decided not to drink for the last 8 weeks. And drinking, is part of my identity. I love it as a social aspect. It also became a part of me that I could see becoming a problem where when I would finish work, And, I work very hard. I work so hard that it was kind of like my vice to finish at the end of the day to kind of switch off. And when I started to look at some of the things that weren't in alignment to this vision I had, this huge vision of being a speaker, a global speaker on stage, international speaker, and I'm owning that identity. I'm saying it right now on this podcast. There were things in my life that were not in alignment to that I had to let go of. And it was the drinking side of me. I'm not to say that I'm going down the sobriety phase, but it was something I made a decision on with my mentors that if I was to knuckle down for the next 8 weeks and see what that would come, it was one of those things. But even things around boundaries, people pleasing, even saying no to friends about going out, how I would switch off at night, how I would be with my clients. I became incredibly focused. And the person I am right now that you're listening to, I'm even scared of her because this huge identity that I've owned now, it's made me super magnetic and almost like I can handle anything right now. I'm so afraid of this magnitude I have. It's given me so many more opportunities, and that's what I'm excited about. So massive life update. The event's been amazing in terms of it's sold out. I'm doing a TEDx, a TED Talk. I'm owning this vision of helping kids to speak. I'm getting on multiple stages right now. And I've got the most amazing partner, amazing team, amazing clients. And now it's about owning your identity as a speaker. And I want you guys to reflect on what that could look like. Are you right now holding yourself back with your voice? Do you feel that when you show up online or even show up on stage, you aren't present, you aren't grounded, and maybe you're not speaking into your true self. You're not owning who you are. Maybe your messaging is off as well. And maybe also what you're doing and what you're saying isn't in alignment to who you're meant to be. So when we start to look at how we speak and how we present, how we command the room, that has a lot to do with presence, pace, and power. Power is the clarity in your message. And if you don't have clarity in your message and you're selling something that doesn't feel authentic to you, what's the point in even doing what you're doing? So right now, this reset in my life, reset in my business as a speaker and owning that identity, you guys are going to be hearing so many beautiful episodes with my great Queendom clients, but also from me teaching skills in speaking, skills in, yes, business, but really honing in on how you can be a better speaker, how you can have more confidence, how you can command the room, camera confidence, how you can sell from stage, how to sell, because the two most important thing in life is speaking and selling. Because that's what's going to allow you to have more impact. It's where you're going to be able to help more people. And that's how you become a legacy and grow. To wrap all of this up with everything that's happened, I can't wait to show you all the opportunities that are coming my way. I can't wait to continue down this path. And if you're ever feeling like you're meant for more and something has held you back, start speaking into that. Because that's going to be your best evidence that you're not doing what you should be doing. You're meant for more. You should be playing bigger. And your voice is your biggest asset to be able to achieve that so that you can have influence, authority, and make the biggest impact to help people. I am your host, Tamara Meyer. I'm back with Keys to the Queendom. You're going to enjoy some epic episodes coming up. Probably also more episodes because your girl has had a bit of time off from speaking and she's ready to give you guys more knowledge in this space. Thank you so much. I remember the first time I spoke on stage. My heart was racing, palms sweaty, voice was shaking. I was terrified. Not because I didn't know what to say, but because deep down I was afraid of being seen. I was afraid of my own power. But here's the truth no one tells you. Speaking isn't about perfection. It's about connection. When you step onto stage, whether it's a room of 10 or 10,000 people aren't just listening to your word. They're feeling your energy. They're watching to see, does this person believe in what they're saying? Does this person believe in themselves? The power to command a room comes from owning your story. Not performing a script. That's what amplifies your voice, and that's what creates impact. I spent years shrinking myself, dimming my light, thinking I had to sound like everyone else to be taken seriously. The moment I let go of the performance and I chose to lead with my truth. My voice changed, my business changed, my life changed, and that's what I want for you. Because when you learn to speak with authority, to lead with conviction, to show up as the fullest, boldest version of you, you don't just inform, you transform. Own your message and create the kind of presence that moves people into action, because your voice is your greatest asset. It's time to use it. So if you're ready to stop shrinking, if you're ready to step into the leader you were born to be, join me at Show Up and Speak Live. The mic is waiting, the world is waiting, and so am I.